Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. This is Mukesh Soni. Friends, in this video we are going to have a discussion of the KSET question papers of English, that is paper 3, 75 questions, 150 marks. And which does it belong to? It belongs to the year 2015 question paper of English, paper 3. So let's begin it. So friends, this is a question paper of English, paper 3, and the duration is 2 hours 30 minutes. And in this question paper 3, there are 75 questions, and each question has a weightage of 2 marks. That means to say 150 marks questions. So let's begin it. So the question number 1 to 5. Question number 1 to 5, you will be having questions either from the unseen passage or from the unseen poem. So we shall directly start from the question number 6. From the question number 6, we shall have a discussion. So the question number 6 says here, in the Canterbury Trails, the Madame Eglantine or the Madame Eglantine is the name of prioress. Prioress is the name of Madame Eglantine or Eglantine. Then a mirror for magistrates, written by Thomas Sackville. Mirror for Magistrate, written by Thomas Sackville. In which poem does Spenser celebrate his love? Spenser's famous poem, Amoroti, Amoreti, the famous poem Amoreti, in which Spenser celebrates his love. Come live with me and be my love. This is the first line of the two poems by Marlowe and Christopher Marlowe and John Donne. So which are these two poems? These two poems are The Passionate Shepherd to His Love by Christopher Marlowe and The Bait by John Donne. So these two poems has the first line. These two poems begin with this line, come live with me and be my love. Which are these two poems? The Passionate Shepherd to His Love by Christopher Marlowe and The Bait by John Donne. Question number 10. What is in a name that which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet? These lines appear in Romeo and Juliet of William Shakespeare. The author of Leviathan is Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes is the author of Leviathan. The famous Diary of Samuel Pepys covers the period of 1660 to 1669. Then question number 13, Dryden's MacFlecknoe targeted whom? Dryden's MacFlecknoe targeted Shadwell. Orunoko is a famous novel by Afra Ben, is about colonization. It's very interesting and very famous, very important question. In all the previous question paper, you will find this question, repeated question about Orunoko, belongs to Afra Ben. It talks about colonization. Better My Heart, 3% God. It's a poem by John Donne. Butter My Heart, 3% God. It's a poem by John Donne. Who among the following is not a graveyard poet? Ambrose Phillips is not a graveyard poet. Then who are the graveyard poets? Thomas Gray, Thomas Parnell, Robert Blair. They are the graveyard poets. Then Journal to Stella. Journal to Stella is a collection of letters by Jonathan Swift. Journal to Stella is a collection of letters by Jonathan Swift. Goldsmith's famous work, She Stoops to Conquer. It's a sentimental comedy. Who has written? Goldsmith. And what's the name of the work? She Stoops to Conquer. It's a sentimental comedy. Mole Flanders. It's a female picaresque. It's written by Daniel Defoe. Mole Flanders, it's a female picaresque written by Daniel Defoe. Which 18th century novel has fascinated post-modernist novelist? That is Tristram Shandy. Tristram Shandy, the full name, The Life and the Opinions of Tristram Shandy, Gentleman. That's a full name, also known as Tristram Shandy. It's a novel by Lawrence Sterne, inspired by Dawn. Quito, inspired by Don Quito. Then another question, 21, question number 21. The woman without pity in Keats' poem, The Woman Without Pity, La Belle Dame Sense Mary, here that symbolizes the goddess of poetry. Now, Wordsworth has composed Ode to Duty. Keats has written Ode to Autumn. Shelley has written Ode to the West Wind. Coleridge has written Dejection and Ode. So Wordsworth Ode to Duty, Keats Ode to Autumn, P.B. Shelley Ode to the West Wind, and Coleridge Dejection and Ode. Question number 23. The following was a radical critic of the machine. Who was the radical critic of the machine? William Cobbett. William Cobbett was considered as a radical critic of the machine. Question number 24. The Wanderer, a novel about women's psychology. Who has written the novel Wanderer? Fanny Burney. And this novel is about women's psychology. The book, which became a cult text for some writers in the 20th century. It was Confessions of an English Opium Eater. The book, which became a cult text for some writers in the 20th century, was Confessions of an English Opium Eater. What's the name of that book? Confessions of an English Opium Eater. Then which is the wrong pair here? RD, Blackmore, the water babies. It's wrong pair because who is considered as water babies? The water babies, a fairy tale for land baby. It's a children's novel by Charles Kingsley. So Water Babies, the novel belongs to Charles Kingsley. So that's a correction. Now remaining are correct. Dickens has written The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Wilkie Collins has written The Woman in the White. George Eliot has written Daniel Deronda. Daniel Deronda. Water Babies, Charles Kingsley. Now, question number 27, Middlemarch, written by George Eliot, A Study of Provincial Life. That is a subtitle of Middlemarch novel by George Eliot. What is the subtitle of the novel Middlemarch? A study of the provincial life. And who has written the novels Middlemarch? George Eliot. George Eliot has written Middlemarch novel. Matthew Arnold's Thyrsis is an elegy on Arthur Hugh Clough. It's a poem. Matthew Arnold's elegy. Thyrsis, it's an elegy on Arthur Hugh Clough. The essay Occasional Discourse on the Negro Question was written by Thomas Carlyle. What's the name of the essay? The Occasional Discourse on the Negro Question, written by Thomas Carlyle or Thomas Carlyle. Question number 30. Now we need to match here. Vanity Fair. It's a novel without hero. Oliver Twist, The Parish Boy's Progress. Silas Marner, The Weaver of Revello. Jane Eyre, An Autobiography. Next, a crowd flowed over London Bridge so many, I had not thought death had undone so many. So in these lines, the second line, these lines are from the poem The Westland by Eliot, and in this second line, I had not thought death had undone so many. This second line has been taken from Dante. Question number 32. 32, question number 32. In which poem does the poet encounter the enemy soldier? So the poem's name is here Strange Meeting, and this poem is written by Wilfred Owen. It deals with the atrocities of World War One. So it talks about World War One, and the poem name is here Strange Meeting, and the poet is here Wilfred Owen. Here the poet Wilfred Owen encounter or meets the enemy soldier. Question number 33. The famous elegy on W. Yeats was written by W.H. Auden. So when W. Yeats died, and W.H. Auden has written an elegy in the memory of W. Yeats, and the title is here, "In Memory of W. Yeats." I'm sorry, there's a spelling error here. "In Memory of W. Yeats." Please correct it. The spelling error. Yeats, in memory of W. Yeats. Then D.H. Lawrence's work, Lady Chatterley's Lover, was ruled to be not obscene by a jury at the Old Bailey in 1960. Question number 35. Who is the novelist said to have inaugurated the genre of the campus novel? That is Kingsley Amis. Kingsley Amis, who is considered as a campus novelist. Ted Hughes, let's match. Ted Hughes belongs to the Thought Fox. Philip Larkin belongs to the Parish Boys Progress. And Peter Potter belongs to Your Attention Please. And Thomas Gunn belongs to On the Move. Now, Sarah Kane's play Blasted, which created a furor, is best described as the experiential drama. Sarah Kane's play Blasted is considered as the experiential drama because it has created a kind of furor. Now, question number 38. Question number 38. Carol Phillips' novel Crossing the River is about slave trade. Carol Carol Phillips' novel Crossing the River is about slave trade. Union Street is a novel written by Pat Barker. This novel is about England, written in 80s. Union Street, a novel about England of 80s England, written by Pat Barker. The Whitson Weddings. The Whitson Weddings. What is Whitson Weddings? It's a collection of poems written by Philip Larkin. Philip Larkin has written a collection of poems titled Whitson Weddings. Question number 41. Who is the critic who said the only method is to be very intelligent? T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot has mentioned here the only method is to be very intelligent. Question number 42. Affective fallacy refers to the evaluation of a literary text on the basis of the emotional response of the reader. Then let's identify the right pair. The remaining are the wrong pair. The Germaine Greer. Germaine Greer is the female eunuch. Female eunuch. And who is Germaine Greer? Germaine Greer is the female eunuch. Is there a text in the class? It's an example of reader response theory. Is there a text in the class? It's an example of reader response theory. Now, which of the following was not written by Roland Barthes? Critical Practice is not written because Critical Practice is a book written by Catherine Belsey. Critical Practice is not written by Roland or the Roland Barthes. It's written by Catherine Belsey. Roland Barthes has written SYZ, Mythologies, Writing Degree 0. The Country and the City is written by Raymond Williams. The Country and the City, written by Raymond Williams. The critics have faulted Edward said on the following grounds: for not recognizing agency of the colonized. Stuart Hall is a powerful proponent of cultural studies. Stuart Hall gives a more voice to the cultural studies. Then the location of culture. It's a seminal work by Homi Bhabha. The location of culture. It's a seminal work by Homi Bhabha. The following is not a member of Subaltern Studies Group. Who is not member? Sumit Sarkar. Sumit Sarkar is not a member. Who are the member of Subaltern Studies Group? Partha Chatterjee, Shahid Amin, David Arnold. They are the members of the Subaltern Studies Group. But Sumit Sarkar is not. The Norman conquest introduced the French words into English vocabulary? Gauri Vishwanathan argues that English studies as a discipline was first introduced in India. Then question number 53, Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a Babylonian epic, and this epic is written in the Akkadian language. It's a Babylonian epic. Gilgamesh is a Babylonian epic. It's written in which language? Akkadian language. So I have tried to give some extra information as well. Question number 54, in the novel 100 Years of Solitude, who is written? Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Gabriel Garcia Marquez has written the novel 100 Years of Solitude. Here, the chronicles of the family are found to be written in Sanskrit. The chronicles of the family in this novel are found to be written in Sanskrit language. The following is a famous novel about the labor camps in Russia. Gulag Archipelago. Gulag, Archipelago. It's about the labor campus in Russia. Now, some more information about this novel. The Gulag, actually, it's the correct spelling is Gulag. The Gulag Archipelago, it's an experiment in literary investigations. It's in 3 volume. It's a non-fictional series written between 1958 and 1968 by Russian writer and Soviet dissident Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Quite difficult name to pronounce. You can just look at the spelling or the information on the screen here. Now we are moving to the question number 56. Which novel by Dostoevsky deals with the idea of Superman, the crime and punishment? Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky talks about the idea of Superman. Question number 57. Catharsis in Aristotle. What is catharsis according to Aristotle? It's a purification, it's a purgation, it's a release. So all the three options are correct. Shishu. Shishu is a hunting story written by Mahashweta Devi. Who has written this hunting story? Mahashweta Devi. And what's the title? Shishu. Then uh, Karukku. Karukku is a Dalit life narrative written by Bama. Karukku is a Dalit life narrative written by Bama. Then we have another question. Salim Sinoy in Salman Rushdie's famous novel Midnight's Children is an unreliable narrator. So Salman Rushdie has written a novel Midnight's Children, and in this novel there's a character Salim Shinoy, and this Salim Shinoy is an unreliable narrator. So Midnight's Children, a novel written by Salman Rushdie. Ivam Indrajit is a play by Badal Sarkar. Indrajit, play by Badal Sarkar. Then let's find out the wrong pair. Tughlaq, it's written by Girish Karnad. It's not written by Sujit Mukherjee. Tughlaq is written by Girish Karnad. Now remaining are correct answer. Speaking of Shiva, written by A.K. Ramanujan. Draupadi, written by Gayatri Spivak. House of Kannuru, Padma Ramchandra. Tughlaq, Girish Karnad. The Lowland is a novel in English by Jhumpa Lahiri. So I want to say here that in all my previous videos of KSET question papers, I have seen that each question paper has one question about the works of Jhumpa Lahiri. So let's prepare better about this author or this author named Jhumpa Lahiri. So Jhumpa Lahiri has written a novel Lowland. Next question, Imaginary Homelands. It's a collection of essays by Salman Rushdie. Imaginary Homelands. It's a collection of essays by Salman Rushdie. Now, let the poets and the poems. Kamla Das, an introduction. Sujata Bhatt, Search for My Tongue. Mamta Kalia, Tribute to Papa, Imtiaz Darkar, Purdha. So let's repeat. An Introduction, written by Kamla Das. Search for My Tongue, written by Sujata Bhatt. Tribute to Papa, written by Mamta. Then Purdha, written by Imtiaz. Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? This is written by whom? Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? It's the name of the play, written by Edward L.B. Edward L.B. has written a play named Who is Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Now, next question, number 67. Robert Lowell was a leading confessional poet. Was Robert Lowell confessional poet? Edible Woman, a novel written by Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood has written novel Edible Woman. Chariots of Fire, novel written about Chariots of Fire. I tried to find information, but there are so many works about Chariots of Fire. So if you find some exact information about this novel, kindly write in the comment box. So it will be helpful for everybody as well as for me. So Chariots of Life, it's a novel about Australia. Then the American poet only novel, Sylvia Plath's only novel is here, The Bell Jar, because I find that the other works are not novel. They are mixed up. Some of one is here poems, another is kind of another book here. But Sylvia Plath has written only novel that's called The Bell Jar, the American poet. Then the philosopher Plato says that in the ideal republic, poets should be honored and then banished. Aristotle says that there cannot be a tragedy without plot. Then question number 73, the concept of hegemony is associated with Antonio Gramsci. Antonio Gramsci or Gramsci, the concept of hegemony is associated with or introduced by Antonio Gramsci. Then the following is not a post-colonial critic, Madhu Keshwar. Madhu Keshwar is not post-colonial critic. That means to say remaining are Leela Gandhi, Enia Lumba, Benita Perry. They are the post-colonial critic. Then the perishable empire is written by whom? Meenakshi Mukherjee. Meenakshi Mukherjee has written The Perishable Empire. So friends, this is how I have tried to give some extra information about this question paper, English paper 3 of the year 2015. And these answers are based on the answer key provided by University of Mysore, the coordinating university of this examination. If you find some more extra information about these questions, feel free to write in the comment box, and that's going to help everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have liked this video, please click on the like button, notification bell, as well as write some comment. And if you are not yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. Very soon, I'm going to bring up the question papers of the UGC NET and the other states set or the SLET English literature question papers. So thank you so much. Stay tuned with Mukesh English.